What's up everyone, how are we doing today? Alright, I'm just talking to a computer. Thank you so much everyone for tuning in this production on human resilience. Today we're just going to touch on a few key tidbits on resilience specifically in the sporting context, and we'll take a look at some factors both internal and external that contribute to athlete resilience, and we'll end on some potential interventions that we and you can employ to help our athletes become more resilient in their everyday stressors. When we think about athlete stress and resilience, we almost always start with the sporting context. For example, there I am, the guy in the yellow, waiting for this massive volleyball player to hit the ball as hard as he can right at me. And my job, funnily enough, is just to let the ball hit me. Seems kind of weird when that volleyball could cause massive damage, and yet through training, this action has just become natural for me. This is just one example of athletic resilience to the competitive sport, but there are many other factors that can affect the athlete's stress load and resilience. Every great athlete has had to overcome adversity in order to become successful. No doubt, each of them had different stressors, different responsibilities, different personalities, and different ways to cope with their stress. But what they have in common is that they are able to hold their composure in stressful situations, also called robust resilience, and bounce back from failures or injury, also called rebound resilience. This relatively new concept in sports psychology is becoming more and more important in athletic performance and development. The grounded theory of psychological resilience, developed by Fletcher and Sarkar, is a relatively new framework that helps to explain resilience by describing athlete stress load, challenge appraisal, metacognition, and other psychological factors that contribute to an athlete's response to stress, and ultimately, their performance. The challenge mindset is one of the most important aspects of resilience because it involves correctly evaluating and interpreting the stresses both on and off the court. For example, someone that views the stress as more of a challenge may actually learn from that stress and emerge greater than before. Another person who views that stress as more of a threat or a loss won't learn from it, and instead it will deter their progress. The challenge mindset is affected by a number of psychological factors such as personality, motivation, confidence, focus, and perceived social support. Roberts et al. Define personality as the relatively stable pattern of thoughts, behaviors, and feelings that one experiences in response to different circumstances. Elite-level Olympic athletes tended to be open to new experiences, conscientious, extroverted, optimistic, emotionally stable, and proactive, which all contribute to their challenge and appraisal mechanisms, and obviously their sports performance. Motivation is obviously a very important aspect for any successful athlete, but resilient athletes specifically are better able to integrate more self-determined forms of extrinsic motivation. Elite athletes value external demands as important and therefore gravitate towards more challenging sporting events. A greater challenge can lead to an overall greater performance enhancement.
My big worry was the heat, the humidity. You just try to put it aside and just concentrate on your race. My head and everything was still functioning. I knew where I had to go, and through dehydration, your body cramps up. I kind of told myself, try to keep running, try to stay upright. My muscles just didn't respond. I knew if I would stop or sit down, that would be the end of it. I just was determined to make it to that finish line.
Confidence can be described as the degree to which one believes they are capable to perform in their sport. You can tell from any of Usain Bolt's interviews that he is very confident in his ability to win. Self-confidence has repeatedly been found to have a positive influence on athletic performance, but it is important to note that teammates can have a huge impact on the confidence of the individual. The ability to focus is also very important for any athletic performance. In elite Olympic athletes, the ability to turn their focus on and off allows them to avoid injury and optimize their performance. One's ability to focus can make the stressors less prominent in an athlete's mind, thus leading to an increase in performance. Some Olympians actually recommend having a side hobby or job so that one would need to learn to turn their sport focus on and off and to avoid overtraining. Finally, pursue social support from family, coaches, teammates, and support staff is extremely important for athletic resilience. An important detail here is that it's the perception of support and not just the physical support. Even if an athlete is provided with all the support that they should in theory need, if they feel it is not adequate, then they will not experience the full benefits from the support from a psychological standpoint. In addition to the grounded theory of psychological resilience, Gonzalez et al. Described a model for the development of resilience. The theory being that we should be able to target specific components such as protective factors, resilient behaviors, stressors, and positive adaptation in order to train athletes to be more resilient. Protective factors from the environment, personal characteristics, and social relationships help to counterbalance or buffer the stressors experienced by the individual. Some examples in sport include a strong team structure, social support, socio-cultural factors, and positive personality.
I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed.
Over time, a combination of stressors and protective factors can lead to the expression of resilient behaviors, which include some of the personality traits described earlier, and allow the athlete to respond positively to adversity and become greater athletes for it. Some of these qualities can be found in Fletcher's grounded theory, such as confidence and motivation, and in some aspects, the increased stress actually led to better performance from the athlete, as seen with Michael Jordan. Stress and adversity encompasses three major categories as defined by Fletcher et al. Competitive stressors include injuries and competitive preparation. Organizational stressors include logistical problems, such as travel and team chemistry. Finally, personal stressors could be anything from work to overall health. Luthar et al. Broadly defines adversity as a risk or negative situation known to be associated with a life adjustment difficulty.
Everybody's talking about Sochi and the comeback to this Olympics, but honestly, that's the true comeback story, at least for me and everything I've been through, is to be down and out and 62 stitches in my face. I mean, my lip was split wide open and I'd kind of ground down a piece of my nose, I cut my forehead, and then I bit through my tongue. So it was a lot.
Finally, positive adaptation is the last component of this framework, and as defined by Luthar et al., is characterized by the ability of an individual to cope with the demands of their chosen sport and perform well. At this point, the athlete should be able to respond in a more positive and controlled manner to stress and adversity so that they grow from each subsequent challenge. So why do we care? As always, in sports psychology, there's no point in understanding these concepts if we cannot apply them to real-world situations. Gonzalez applied his development of resilience theory in multiple case studies that demonstrated how to take a resilience-based approach to sports psychology. Gonzalez found that even in the presence of protective factors, athletes still needed support in developing resilient qualities. A number of interventions could potentially help to improve psychological resilience in athletes such as self-talk, mindfulness, imagery, refocus training, team building, and stress inoculation training. However, putting these into real-world settings is a more difficult task than just telling an athlete to go download an imagery app and become more resilient. It may be more prudent to link psychological skills with relevant adversities so that resilient qualities may be developed specific to their chosen sport. In looking to apply this to real athletes, an initial needs analysis needs to be done first to analyze the current protective factors available and employed by the athlete. Appropriate interventions can then be designed to fit the athlete's current need. Sports psychologists will likely have to focus on the organization's decision makers to make the most meaningful change in an athlete's support systems. Despite the benefits of resilience training, Fletcher et al. Emphasized that the resilience training is not the answer to all performance and well-being problems. Resilience training should instead be included in an overall holistic psychosocial support system to produce a well-adjusted performance athlete.